Should be live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, that's the intro you get when you know this is going to be a geopolitical show. It's going to be a long show. The art of the deal is at work. It's at play. I wish I could say I told you so, but I think all of you guys knew. This mouse is dead again. Man. I need a new mouse. Don't tell me to try to turn it on and off. Okay, I've tried that. But this thing just doesn't hold power, doesn't charge and maintain power, and it's gonna die in the middle of the show. So if I start looking disabled like Joe Biden, just know it's because I'm freaking out about this stupid mouse. And my back's starting, I'm getting old, man. My back's starting to hurt. It's like just hurting in the weirdest places ever. Annoying. President Trump is on the verge of acquiring land in Greenland. This is a crazy transition. My back to we're taking Greenland. Yeah, the president announced that the United States, NATO, and I guess Danish officials, whoever else was involved in those negotiations, are close to a concept of a plan. We have a concept of a plan. It's going to be big, huge. Everyone's going to be happy. Yeah, we are going to take Greenland, take parts of the island, and it's going to be an interesting plan. Now, the president at Davos today said something only he would say in front of the globalist, which is that Greenland is part of North America, which means it belongs to the United States. Take a listen.
Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory. It's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important nearly when we gave it back. When we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth, no such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing, but there's so much rare earth. And to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere, and we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries. For 2 centuries they've been trying to do it. They should have kept it after World War II, but they had a different president. That's all right. People think differently. Much more necessary now than it was at that time, however.
So what the president is saying is that Greenland is part of the Western Hemisphere, which means it belongs to the United States of America. And Denmark should not have any right to dictate terms and affairs in the Western Hemisphere as a European country, a Scandinavian nation. Denmark surrendered Greenland to the United States to defend after they surrendered under the Nazi invasion in like 6 hours. It was like 5 hours and they surrendered to Hitler. And it's like they want to puff their chest out. They're Nancy Pelosi all of a sudden. They want everybody to see that they're the big dogs. Come on, no one's scared of Denmark, Copenhagen. With your gay cyclist. That's all they have in Copenhagen. Gay cyclist, like really pretty colored buildings. I have to say, Scandinavian architecture is actually beautiful. Now, the NATO Secretary General agreed with President Trump, and this kind of shook NATO because they weren't expecting that.
So statements from me will not add anything here. And when it comes to the Arctic, I think President Trump is right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic. We know that these sea lanes are opening up. We know that China and Russia are increasingly active in the Arctic. There are 8 countries bordering on the Arctic. 7 are a member of NATO. That's Finland and Sweden and Norway and Denmark. Iceland, Canada, and the US. And there's only one country bordering on the Arctic outside NATO, and that's Russia. And I would argue there is a ninth country, which is China, which is increasingly active in the Arctic region. So President Trump and other leaders are right. We have to do more there. We have to protect the Arctic against Russian and Chinese influence. And that's exactly what NATO ambassadors decided to do in September. We are working on that, making sure that collectively will we defend the Arctic
region. Yeah, so that was Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General, telling the Europeans that President Trump is right about Greenland, specifically Arctic security. And so what is being done about this? I saw someone from Australia type that we have a great president. We do. You know, Australia, I just noticed Australia just found, I think, $6 trillion, up to $6 trillion of iron ore. Come on, baby. President Trump kidnapped whoever their leader is. Take him too, like you did with Maduro. Let's take Australia. It belongs to the United States. Let's just take it. So what is this deal? The preliminary details are as follows. It involves small pockets of land for the United States, U.S. involvement in Greenland's mineral rights. So we'll have a say over which companies get granted the ability to mine those minerals and sell who they sell to. The duration of the deal has an indefinite timeline. So President Trump was asked, how long will this deal be in place? And he said indefinitely. And it's designed to block Russian influence in Greenland. And the U.S. Golden Dome system will be involved. I'll explain all of that. And then number 6, it opens doors to U.S.-backed infrastructure investments. President Trump is looking to secure land, minerals, and defense in one deal. That's crazy. So the question everyone's asking is, what does it mean that we're going to own small pockets of land? And what a lot of the Democrats have been saying in the last few months, since Trump brought this Greenland point back up, is, well, we already are in Greenland. We own bases and we have a lot of military presence there with our base in northwestern Greenland, which is our northernmost base. That is an important base for our missile defense infrastructure, aiding with radar detection for ballistic and supersonic or hypersonic missiles. So what do you mean we need it? We're already there. Well, the United States is there by the permission, key word, permission of Denmark. But if the U.S. owns the land, the physical territory in Greenland, and has sovereignty over that territory, the United States has territory. Like, that's different. We have sovereignty. We have title. That's what Trump said. Right now we have a lease. We're allowed to be there, but they can kick us out. But if we have ownership of any territory in Greenland, that sets a precedent. And we know how these things go. You take a little bit. Look, they're going to give us an inch. We're going to take the whole mile, ladies and gentlemen. That's how Trump is going to play this. It's going to be a slow process. Essentially, we're letting Denmark pay for Nooks, the people of Greenland, the Inuit people, pay for their welfare programs, their free healthcare, free accommodations, pay for their heating costs, while we get mineral rights, ownership of critical lands, and we get to be the defenders of it, which means we have all the guns on the island, which means if we ever really need to, we just take it. Plus, whatever land we own, I imagine we'll own land specifically around shipping routes. So I think coastline for countries or territories is like, 100 miles off of, land or ice in this instance. So we would control that territory. And I think whatever land we pick, our national security team has already identified that that land will be very strategic to the United States. So the second question is, so I established that owning small pockets of land is different from what we have now because we have sovereignty. Denmark can't tell us what to do. In fact, we tell Denmark what to do because we have the guns on the island, on the territory. So the second part, is designed to block Russian influence in Greenland and aid the U.S. Golden Dome system, which President Trump pushed. If you guys remember, Israel fought that missile war versus Iran, and Iran launched like 1,000 missiles, and I think 20 of them made it through. Israel would literally have been obliterated without the United States Iron Dome system. It's technically a layered system. You have the Patriot system, and I think there's like the THAAD system, something above the Patriot system, and then you have the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome deals with the slower, slower missiles, drones, and then the other systems deal with the big, heavy missiles. So Iran launched all of these at Israel, and we were watching it, like these interceptions. It was like bizarre. It's like, how do they know? Like, so what you have is on the ground and on the air radar systems that detect missile launches and then tracks their trajectory, because every missile starts with a trajectory, and then it identifies its target, and then it feeds that information to the interceptors, and then they launch defensive missiles, and it, fireworks them out of the air, right? Blows them up before they hit, the atmosphere or hit land. So that's the idea of the Golden Dome, except instead of a small strip of land the size of New Jersey, you'll have it over the United States. But let's look at the map, and I'll just give you some context. So Russia has been building a missile base on their northwestern part of their country. So, terrible map here, but this is Russia. They have been building, I gotta zoom in. Gosh, Google Earth sucks. Russia has been building bases somewhere around here, right? So over Europe and extremely close to Greenland. Okay, so what does that have to do with the United States? Well, Russia has these bases right there, and if they were to launch a missile, the distance to the United States is infinitely smaller than if they were to do it from anywhere else. And with the Arctic opening up, it becomes a contested region for influence commercially and militarily. So for the United States, Greenland, not only important to your missile detection architecture for your defense, but also crucial as a spot to deter Russian aggression in the region. Now, I'm not saying we're going to fight Russia anytime soon. I'm not Lindsey Graham. I don't think Russia and the United States are really natural enemies. I think we're artificial enemies, right? We've been pushed to hate each other. Trump probably has more in common with Putin than with any of these European females known as, Macron and these women that run Europe. These feminists, not real women. Real women are conservative women. The feminists run Europe, the ones that take off their shirts and bras and block streets to protest for climate change. Oh, stop killing the turtles. Turtles? What has a turtle ever done for you? Has a turtle paid your bills? Screw that turtle. I'm drinking out of this plastic straw. And I'm eating this Chick-fil-A fried chicken. I don't care what the chicken... I don't care. I'm not eating cows. I'm going to eat cows. I'm not eating grass. I'm not a cow. That's what I meant. Anyways, so the United States and Russia are not going to fight anytime soon. But if we were to fight, we need the upper hand. And Greenland is our high point. And Greenland allows us our base over here somewhere. It allows us to detect missiles early that are launched from around these areas, and then it gets our interceptors all the information they need to defend the United States. Now, some people are like, oh, why are we always thinking about defense? Well, that's because no. I was going to say that's because we've never been attacked. That's why you would feel like that. But it's precisely because we think about defense that we've never been attacked. That's it. Like, think of it that way. Because the United States military budget is $1.5 trillion, no one even wants to bother attacking this country. Look at this map. There's Maine. There's Canada, soon to be the United States. Well, we'll take Alberta. We don't need the rest. And there's Greenland. Do you see now the strategic importance of having control of this territory? When you see the world that way, with that perspective, then you'll understand why Russia is building bases around here. Because it's not that Russia thinks they're going to attack the United States, it's that Russia would like the option to attack. But if the United States controls this territory, suddenly our coastline is like here. We now like control so much of this, so much up here. Russian submarines aren't going to be around here, and spy ships, reconnaissance planes aren't going to be flying around here. Plus, we get to control the next venue for global shipping, the Arctic, right? The ice is melting in the North Pole, in the Arctic Ocean. Shipping lanes are opening up around here. Ships are easily navigating. Ships are going to be able to move through these regions, and the United States needs control of those regions. That's the geopolitical importance, the military strategic importance of Greenland. Now, the other part. Someone said on the channel a few weeks ago, which is determination. If the Greenlandic people want it, yeah, then sure. But if they don't want it, no. It doesn't matter what they like. It doesn't matter if the people of Greenland say, United States, please save us. President Trump, if you can hear me, please save us. Take us, add us to the American empire. It doesn't matter if they say that, because there are just superpowers in the world, and there are national interests for the empires of the world that supersede the personal feelings of these small territories. The people in Nook don't know anything or care about national security because they're living under the umbrella of the U.S. military-industrial complex. They know we can nuke any country at any point within 5 minutes. So they don't even know that. But they live under that reality. The Europeans, they can puff their chest out and do all this, import all these migrants to destroy their societies, and feel like nothing is still wrong because we protect them militarily. Russia would have you know what's crazy? The white people in those European countries would probably be fighting with Putin if he came in to invade the UK. Because they'd be like, all right, okay, at least Putin ruling us would be like better than Keir Starmer. The Germans would be fighting alongside Putin. That's the thing. But the European leaders live under this false pretense that they still have cards. But Trump has all the cards. The leverage is gone. Their leverage would have been if they could hurt the U.S. economy. And they can't. Oh, we'll sell treasuries. Okay, but we have all your gold here. We'll just steal your gold. All your assets are priced in dollars. If we crash the dollar, you're crashed too. You're cooked. If we go down, you're going down with us. So it's like this is the reality of the world. The United States controls Earth in that sense. And it's, kind of hard for the Danish people to be like, to be understanding of that point. But it is true. I'm sorry to look. I'm sorry it had to be this way, but Denmark is not an important country. Like, Denmark can't have a say over U.S. national security architecture. We need to be able to blow missiles out of the sky to protect the homeland, but because it's cool, it's really cool to just, blow other people's missiles out of the sky. It's cool to take something Russia and China clearly want. China had their Belt and Road Initiative, and they own Africa now. Every African country, all their mining activities, China, right? The United States is finally competing. We're finally investing in the infrastructure over there so we can diversify our critical minerals mining and supplier networks. We need diversified supply chains. China wants the same thing they have in Africa and Greenland. So you know what they've been doing? They've been going to the Greenlandic leaders and saying, we'll give you a loan, a very favorable 0% interest, 0% anything, a nice, beautiful loan to build something. Just take the loan. Come on, take the loan, take the loan, take the loan. I don't know how Xi Jinping sounds in the negotiating room, but I imagine it's something like that. And the Greenlandic people go, oh, okay, we'll take the loan. You guys kind of look like us, because guys, native Inuit people look Chinese. I'm being honest here, okay? If a bunch of Chinese people moved to Greenland, we would not be able to tell the difference. They look the same. So the United States is like, no, actually, we need to step in here, stop these Chinese aggressions, these moves to embed themselves financially, because they start financially. They give the loan, and then in a few decades or few years, China's like, okay, well, we want control of your minerals. We want to mine here. We want to mine there. And China doesn't care about environment. They'll bring heaters on that ice. Like, they'll melt that ice just to get to the rare earths. And they'll take it to China, process it, and try to sell it to us. So the United States is acting proactively by going into Greenland and saying we need territory here. So what we'll do, we'll carve out the most important pieces, and we'll say, well, this is ours, this is ours. And then slowly we'll carve out more, right? The next US president will want a piece of Greenland, and then the next one. We'll have like a giant slice in 20 years. Or we'll own everything. Because Denmark might get tired of paying for something they don't own or control. Because if we have mineral rights, we have sovereignty, what do they have? Like, what responsibility? They have all the responsibility but none of the authority, It's like, you know what we are? Greenland would be like Denmark is like a man. Greenland is like his side chick. All right, let's go with wife, because that's going to help the analogy more. We're not King Solomon. No concubines over here. Greenland is Denmark's wife. And Greenland, as the wife, expects Denmark, as the husband, to take care and protect her. But Denmark's like, hey, I don't think you should walk around that avenue because there's going to be a lot of young thugs that are going to rob you. Okay? Don't go down that alleyway. But Greenland's like, no, I'm going to go down the alleyway. You don't control me, my body, my choice. And then she goes down the alleyway, gets beat up, Eyes are all bloodied up. She comes back home. Why didn't you protect me? You weren't even there for me. Okay, but I told you not to do it. So basically, Greenland will entrust Denmark with just give it all the responsibilities for security, but give the United States all the authority. We're gonna have the final say. We're like the man she told you not to worry about. We're like the gay best friend that's like gonna become straight in the story. You know, we're just there like, come on, girl, come with me. And then eventually we're gonna be straight, like, hey, you're coming with me. Like, oh, what's up? Well, you changed your tone. Yeah, that's because this whole time I've been pretending to be gay. You're mine. Next thing you know, Greenland, USA, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be like Guam, Puerto Rico. It's gonna be like icy Puerto Rico. Okay? And white people need Greenland because we have all the hot places for the melanin people, you know? We get sunburned in Florida. Like we have all the hot places for the black people. White people need their cold ice fort in Greenland. Okay? It's for the country, it's for the well-being of the nation. To get Greenland, it doesn't even matter if it's for national security. If all of this I've been telling you about missile defense was nonsense, I still want it because it's cool, literally, to have it. It's cool, literally cool. No, we do need Greenland. We need other places too. I think Australia with 6 trillion. What are they doing with 6 trillion? 6 trillion iron ore. Come on. Take Australia, man. It's just but look, just take it. You know? Take Australia. Take any country with minerals, resources that they are doing nothing with. Just take it. We are an imperial empire. We're shameless. International law, rules-based international rules for who? We make the rules. We are the rules. Remember when Trump told the governor of Maine, "I am federal. We are federal law. I am the federal law." Yeah, exactly. We make the rules so they don't apply to us. They apply to everyone else that we subject them to. So take Greenland, and we are in the process of taking it. And if we're not going to take all of it, or we can't have all of it, fine, sure, but take, these parcels of land, plant the American flag. It's the nation's 250th birthday. That's our present. Come on. Thomas Jefferson would be like, dang it, why didn't I think of Greenland? I only did Louisiana. The Louisiana Purchase was great, And it's so ironic that it was from Napoleon. Napoleon, who was an imperialist and made France a great empire for a little bit by selling the Louisiana Territory to the United States, made us the global superpower because it doubled the nation's territory. And by the way, for the people that are like, well, Congress isn't approving this. Okay, Thomas Jefferson believed in Congress and the people's voice more than anybody. He wanted a strong legislative and a weaker executive. And that guy, he screwed Congress. He gave them the middle finger and said, we're taking the Louisiana Territory. We're not going to wait for Congress to vote and create because there was no process to acquire land. They needed to do something, vote like 1 billion times, agree on a price. He just told Napoleon, okay, well, look, it's ours. We'll send you the money later. Give it to us. Give us the title, I'll sign. We can do the same thing with Greenland. Let Congress figure it out in 20 years, because they'll take 20 years to do something like this. Trump is just doing it. He signed an executive order to ban institutional investors from buying single-family homes. He's just doing it. He's just making it happen. Not waiting on Congress. What, we need AOC's permission to expand the empire? We need Jasmine Crockett. You know what I think, y'all? I think we need to get Greenland. We don't need Jasmine Crockett. That ghetto ratchet. I can't finish what I'm saying. We don't need her permission to do things. Well, Trump, imagine Trump calling hello, Alexander Ocasio-Cortez. Do I take Maduro, please? Please, pretty please. No, just take Maduro and let Congress cry the next day. We don't care about Congress. They don't do anything anyways. They only argue. When was the last time Congress did anything for you, for me and you? We want election integrity. No. Here's $50 billion to Ukraine. Okay, well, can you give us safe elections, pass the SAFE Act, the SAVE Act. Just force people to show citizenship before they vote. Okay, no, but we have a better idea. 10 billion for Bibi Netanyahu. Okay, cool. All right, everybody gets their thing. But how about just a little bit of election integrity for us? Congress has never done anything for me. And when Democrats get in, 50 million for condoms for Gaza. Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, great. That's going to help that's going to help the republic grow and stay alive. Don't help with anything important like election integrity. Send 50 million to study transgender monkeys in the jungles of Zimbabwe. Thank you. Wow. No one else thought of that but Congress. And how could we forget 9 billion for the Somalis to send to Mogadishu for real estate in Mogadishu, Somalia. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, and daycares, transportation companies, medical, whatever, just fake companies. That's what Congress does. But when you and I call for election integrity, they do nothing. So screw Congress. This is a unitary executive. President Trump is using his constitutional authority to do what he needs to do. Take Greenland without Congress. Who cares about those? Who cares? So let's turn the UK into one big Ireland. Look, Ireland's doing pretty well. Their economy is skyrocketing, but they are ruled by Marxist, socialist. Much of Europe is, much of Europe is. And I think the problem the United States would have if European civilization fell is, although Europe thinks about dumb ideas constantly, it is the only part of the world that has thinking as a culture, like philosophy as an activity, right? Talking about the Greek philosophers, it's where thought became an activity that people do, right? So they do originate a lot of philosophical ideas about. Now those, I'm on to absolutely nothing. No. Let me develop this thought because I think let me go through this in my head because I'm just saying something I've never thought about before, but it might be true. Europe industrialized philosophy, and it's from Europe that we get, capitalism, right? But also socialism and communism. So we get a lot of original thought because for whatever reason, European civilization has prioritized thinking, debate, reasoning, right? So if Europe falls as a civilization, where in the world would we get original thoughts? Where do we, you know what I mean? Where are we going to find philosophy? I'm not saying we even have philosophers now, but, right now European thought is being hijacked by the globalist mob who are forcing, people that should think about improving society to think about how do we expand the welfare state? How do we spend more government money? How do we tax the rich more? How do we make it harder to do business? So they're doing the opposite, but they're thinking of solutions for the worst problems that don't exist, climate change as an example. But typically, some point that needs to correct itself. I guess the United States is the new global thought leader in that sense, but if we'll complete this thought in 5 to 10 business days. Yeah. We'll complete this thought in 5 to 10 business days because my brain is trying to calculate what I'm saying. okay, well, if you bring a bunch of people from India, they're not going to be thinking about civilizational progress because, they're going to be thinking about how do we put the biggest Hindu statue in Texas. That's kind of yeah. Come on, brain, wake up. It's not like it's 11 p.m. What am I doing? No, but the point is, right? European civilization gave birth to the United States, right? When the founders were, drafting this system of government, they took inspiration from the English Civil War. They took inspiration from the Roman Empire. They took inspiration from the philosophers, the thinkers of freedom and the people that originated classical liberalism, the idea of individual government, self-government. That originates from European civilization. That's kind of what Trump was talking about, which is he is derived from Europe. But it's that's been hijacked to not think about solutions for modern problems, but think of solutions for climate change and other garbage. And so when that's gone, then the world does lose a region known for coming up with thoughts and ideas. Europe's greatest export is not really anything physical. It's immaterial. It's ideas. It's systems. Yeah, is it not? It's systems. It's civilizational opinions. Honestly, it's opinions. Like some guy, wrote a book somewhere like 2,000 years ago. Not 500 years ago. And it informs modern society. So that's what I mean. Let me just stop. No, Europe did not give birth to America. Europe isn't a woman. It is now, but it wasn't before. It birthed from or birthed some. Guys, birthed. Okay. Some words just annoy me, And the usual suspects. I made that John Fetterman. I don't care. It's Featherman. Okay? I've been called. Look, it's funny because I started calling him Featherman when he was a Democrat, running to be a Democrat senator. And it was like, look at him. I'm roasting him by mispronouncing his name. And now that's how I say it. And now everyone's like, George, it's Fetterman. Okay, well, Featherman. Fetterman. Okay, well, look, who cares? He's a Democrat. What am I supposed to do? Care about his name? But the video about him did get 500,000 views for the channel. So we are going to have to respect our lump-necked, constantly sick John Fetterman. Great guy. We love John. Nobody does it like John. Good guy. I know a John. I knew a guy once. His name was John. Handsome guy, but he had a big problem. He was fat. So it's been a crazy day, The WEF. I read something that I thought resonated with me, which is Trump didn't go to Davos to join them. He went there so they could join him. And that's how you should look at it. Because I remember when people would look at anyone and go, oh, you have a profile on the WEF website, you must be a crook. Yeah, but everyone does. Every popular world leader or political or celebrity figure, they all have those profiles. But it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they are actually associated with the globalists. But I think the WEF itself is changing. Because right now it's people going there to condemn globalism. Javier Milei. Viva la libertad, carajo! Like he's going off about, the global left is over, like they have lost. So, and Trump's going there, just ripping them apart, talking about American isolationism, territorial integrity, national civic pride. And it's like, yeah, that's very different from what the Klaus Schwabs and, those guys were promoting, just a few years ago. You will eat the bugs, you will eat the bugs, you will own nothing, and you will be happy, you will rent for the rest of your life. And now it's completely different. So Trumpism has shifted the conversation on just about everything, which is sensational. Countries are now putting themselves first. The NATO secretary mentioned that if Trump were not president of the United States, the level of investment NATO countries have been doing for their militaries would not be possible. And people ask, what is it about this military obsession and this defense spending obsession that's so important? That's because we live in the greatest peacetime the world has ever seen. If you go back just 100 years, people were like killing each other every day. France was at war with everybody, and England and Germany was at war, and it's like Austria, and every country was fighting every other country. Japan was invading everybody and fighting China, because of the U.S. imposed world order, there's peace. We do get conflicts like Iraq, Afghanistan, but they're even the Ukraine war is tiny compared to what was happening just 80 years ago, 100 years ago. So it's because of the U.S. imposing, a military order, and that comes with, extraordinary defense spending. I love President Eisenhower, Dwight D. Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, when he warned about the military-industrial complex. But people take that warning in the opposite, they don't understand what he was saying. Yeah, he was saying that there is this rising force. It's the military-industrial complex. They're going to want war. But he didn't necessarily say we don't need a strong military. He was just saying we don't want military planners and companies that love to make bombs to dictate foreign policy, to get us into more wars. But we do need a strong military. A general would have certainly believed that, right? So it's because the United States military is so strong that we see this prolonged period of peace. Now, after Vietnam and after the Cold War and the Soviets fell apart, what the United States should have done was retreat. We should have elected a Trump at that point. But we went into new conflicts and we started fighting new wars in the Middle East. And that's, we should have enjoyed the dividends of peace for ourselves. But now Trump is saying, okay, we're going to stop fighting everywhere else, but we are going to get Greenland. We're going to take Venezuela. We're going to take Cuba. There's now reports that the U.S. is looking at insiders inside the Cuban government to turn against the regime and topple that regime. And suddenly you're going to have a safe Western Hemisphere. And, anything else can go on in the world, but this side will be safe. Our half of the world will be safe. So Trump is now pushing us into a direction of focusing on productivity, reindustrializing, the globalist plan to, offshore manufacturing, send all the factories to China and Vietnam and India. That failed because they said, here's what the globalists said. We can make the designs in the United States, and then we can send the designs to a factory in China. The factory in China will create jobs for the Chinese, lift them out of poverty, and then, they'll make the products, and then we'll buy the products. And we win by the intellectual, by selling the intellectual property or using the intellectual property that they can't recreate. But what happened was China was like, okay, we're manufacturing this. We are now getting a hang of how this is designed anyways. Because an iPhone is the same almost every year, except, they make the camera just a tiny bit bigger and sell it to you for an extra $1,000 every year. So China was like, okay, well, it looks like we understand it too. So we're going to start to copy these designs and mass produce them, as opposed to the richer Chinese workers that received the benefits of American industry in their country, buying from that same company, buying from the United States and becoming consumers for the globe. They just became domestic consumers. They make all the products and they consume the products at home because they're cheaper and probably the same quality. So the whole arrangement failed. The globalists just ended up exporting all of America's best technology to China. Then China used it and made their country what it is today, a global powerhouse with economic might. China ran a trade surplus of $1.2 trillion in 12 months last year. Just think about how crazy that is. Now, it hurts them in the long run because, other countries are like, hey man, we'd like to not import as much and we want you to buy as much as we buy from you so we can have a trade balance. Plus China, none of their companies have any market share because all of them get subsidized by the government. And so all the companies are willing to sell for a loss because the CCP will make up for it. So they have a problem with, none of their companies rising to the top, which means if they don't rise to the top, they're not going to be able to attract global talents to scale artificial intelligence. So the United States still has that lead. But the idea that, we would be where the designs are made and where all the experts and brains live, and then we'll use their hands over there and help them come up, and then they'll, use the money we send and buy from us, and then a repeated cycle. That cycle was broken when China just started taking intellectual property. China doesn't even have YouTube. They just copied YouTube and made their own version. So what am I saying? The global order has failed. Globalism has collapsed. Globalization. Now, what's going to work is reindustrializing, right? Because the country went from a productive industrial powerhouse to a service economy with financial and, insurance sectors dominating. We became the globe's money printer, essentially, right? And to make matters worse, in the 70s, Nixon took the country off the gold standard. The petrodollar saved this country because it kept the influence. Because if all oil, like 80% of oil is priced in dollars, and it's bought in dollars, that creates that demand for it. Otherwise, it's a useless currency. But when you gave your industrial might away and embraced a service economy, now AI is coming up, and AI is going to take all the tech jobs and take all the, the finance bros jobs, take all the accounting jobs and the insurance jobs. Then you need to reindustrialize. You need to make everything shipbuilding. Not when people talk about manufacturing, they're thinking about textiles like clothes. No, Vietnam can have the clothes. India can have the clothes. What the United States wants to build is like the machines that power modern civilization. The ships for cargo vessels, oil tankers. What am I saying? Oil tankers, airplanes. Rolls-Royce apparently wants to move their jet engine production to the United States. That would be a $1 trillion investment from what I'm reading, with like 40,000 jobs. That would be transformational for global supply chains for airplanes. This country needs to manufacture all the heavy things that the world can't do without, up to traffic lights. We want to manufacture traffic lights, even solar panels. And in order to manufacture to be competitive, you do need a weaker dollar, which is where tariffs came into play. Trump is weakening the dollar deliberately so we can make things here cheaper and be more competitive when priced in international dollars. So we need reshoring, which is happening. And the left says, well, what do you mean? It's not happening. Manufacturing jobs were lost. Okay, well, we're in a transition period. Companies are getting more productive with less workers. But eventually, in 5 years, electricity production generation in this country will probably, go up significantly. Factories will have been opened, thousands, hundreds. The workforce will change. It's gonna expand. I don't understand. Okay, look, I get complaining about Trump when it comes to, I don't know, his rhetoric. Like, he is bombastic. He does exaggerate. Oh my gosh. This man exaggerates. He said we had boats there 500 years ago in Denmark. The country didn't even exist. But the point is, right, I get criticizing, he's always exaggerating. Okay, whatever. If it's 1 trillion, he'll say it's 5. Okay, sure. He's a businessman. He likes to, exaggerate the reality. But it's not like he's lying. He's just telling you it's bigger than it is. But I get the criticism on that end. But I don't understand how a real economist, even on the left, looks at the situation, looks at what Trump is doing with manufacturing, and is like, he's ruining the economy. I don't get it. I think it's treasonous almost. The attitude that everyone has here, thinking that Trump helped me do this, Trump helped me do that. Oh yeah, I don't think a president is responsible for helping anybody. It's called lying. Okay, well, I don't know if you understand what exaggeration is. He has a big ego. Yeah, sure. That's every rich, powerful man. He got there with a big ego. Alberta, Canada is coming to America. We'll take Alberta, man. Oh, Usher Vance is pregnant. Stephen Miller's wife is pregnant. And Caroline Leavitt is pregnant. Hey, man, this administration's getting busy. Yeah, look, they're producing. Congratulations to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance. Giaviz says California, Texas, Greenland. What do they all have in common? Territories the United States acquired. Okay, no, I'm sure you meant something else. Mobster, thanks for the $20. Effie sent $5. Thank you, Effie. Compared to the last president, at least Trump is awake. Okay, that's not an achievement. Come on, guys. I get it. He walked upstairs safely. Oregon is mostly red. I guess people were talking about Oregon in the chat. It's a boy? Is that confirmed, Zelda? Is it confirmed that J.D. Vance's kid is going to be a boy? Because I just read it. I read on X, I think 2 days ago, that the kid was going to be a kid. Well, I don't imagine, Usher Vance gives birth to a dog. Yeah, so it's for sure going to be a child, right? Sorry, boy. Boy, it's going to be a boy, right? Is that true? Kamala drunk. Gavin Newsom sipped out of Kamala's cup. Oh, yes? He said so? I ruined the gender reveal, JD. You didn't even let the kid pick. You're supposed to let him pick. He has to, like he's picking college teams. Just, put a bunch of hats on the table and have him pick whichever hat he feels comfortable. Or Yeah, okay. We're not doing that nonsense. Even as a joke. That's awesome. W boy. It's going to be a big win for JD Vance. Not that a girl would have been, well, in this day and age, look. This is why I'm going to have 20 sons in a row. God might be like, all right, here's one daughter at the end. But, like a daughters in this day and age is crazy because, you have OnlyFans. It's scary. Scary stuff, guys. Girls in the chat, you guys know what I mean. You know what I mean. OnlyFans. Just joining and I see Trump did not. Look, if you're joining and you see babies in the Trump did not make a deal with a baby. We were talking about Greenland, but we moved into this situation. Am I going to name them all George? Well, the problem is, obviously the first one is going to be George Jr., but I'm not sure I can do a second one and name them George, and it's like George the Third. I don't think that's how it works. I think the first child has to give his child that same name. But look, my name is a colonized name, right? King George. Typically, without slavery or colonization, I would be Mama Batunde in some Congolese jungle or something. But no, we are George, so they will be George. Georgia, George Foreman. He named all his kids George. No way. George Foreman, the boxer, named all his sons George. No way. Oh my gosh, he actually did. He named somebody Georgette. No way. Georgetta. That's only black people would do this, man. Why are you naming your daughter? Actually, that's not bad. I was watching college football, that championship. Great game. Man, some of those names, man. Look, I love the Black Queen. We love the Black Queens. It's Black History Month's coming up, okay? Love the Black Queens, but guys, I saw a name, Joshisha. Just name him Joshua. It's a biblical name. What are you doing all this Joshisha for? Like, he's gonna get bullied. But anyways, he named the girl Georgette. Yeah, Georgetta. This guy needs to be jailed for this. So he just gave his kids, man. So how do you differentiate? He's just numbering them. Like, hey, George 1. Hey, what's up, George 2? Come over here. That's crazy. Kool-Aid, best name, guys. I'm not naming my child Kool-Aid. I'm going to be honest. I know racism is funny, and I should probably perpetuate the stereotype, but I don't really understand the hype behind Kool-Aid. I've never liked it. Yeah, it's just even watermelon. I'm going to be honest. It's good and it's okay, but the fruit I like the most is like, I'd say a pineapple. A pineapple does something for me. Not like one of those like, a mango, a good mango. I haven't had a good mango in a while though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about water. I do know about chicken. Chicken does do something for me. It does. It lives up to the hype. The melanin and chicken just go together, man. It's like you taste chicken and it's like your taste buds are just having a worship. Hallelujah. Just singing hymns or something. Worship, praise and worship. The Lord is good. Nobody else but him is good. But anyways, I don't. Kiwis. Okay, I don't eat any fruits with weird names. Kiwis. Ugh, that sounds like a disease. You got kiwis, bro? Ugh. No, we don't do Kiwis. George of the Jungle. Yeah, Curious George was. This is why this name isn't good for me. It's like you have the name George is just every joke comes out of the book. Watermelon helps with mental health and heals the body. You must be a woman. Mental health. Yeah, you're eating watermelon for mental health. Oh, I'm depressed. Come on. It helps with mental health. Okay, well, banana. Bananas are decent if I'm doing a protein shake, but I haven't been to the gym in 3 months. Guys, we've been trying to make videos. I don't have time for the gym right now. I'll start soon. I told you guys, I'm going to really put my foot on the gas and really go hard when I turn 30. Like, as soon as I turn 30, man, I'm really going to take everything seriously. Do I have a wife? Okay. Guys. Guys, what are these questions? I'm 51, black, and a conservative. I support you. Good watch. Yes. Guys, I'm trying to build rep with my fellow blacks. I'm trying my best, but it's hard. It's hard nowadays. Because look, I'm racist to everybody. Right? So I do get comments, and it's like, come on, George, why would you say that? Look, I make fun of everybody, okay? Blacks, I love you and me. I love everybody, but look, I'm racist to everyone. Mental asylums. When I get a woman, am I going to leave you? No, look. A woman leave. Look, guys, I'm going to be in an arranged marriage, okay? Like, it's going to be a political arranged marriage. Like, that's the only way I'm going to do it. You'll have a big channel, no time, you'll be much more serious than you think. Nah. George Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was great, man. I read the books. I would recommend that Jefferson book. John Adams is cool too. I think founding fathers, my tier list would be, I really like John Adams, right? Because he wasn't really popular as a president. He wasn't, he did stop us from going to war with France, but the Alien and Sedition Acts really did cook his presidency. Adams, however, he didn't allow the Federalists to, push him towards even stronger federal government, even stronger central government. He didn't allow the Republicans, the Jeffersonian Republicans, to push him to war with Great Britain over France, to support France. And he didn't support the French Revolution, which ultimately ended up being a failure. And with a lot of bloodshed, innocent people, murdered. Jefferson he loved that blood, the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time by the blood of patriots and tyrants. Like, he loved it. He loved all that. But I do like Benjamin Rush is up there. Like, this is like one of those things that's underrated. Benjamin Rush was like a Charlie Kirk in his day, He wasn't ever in true power, but he was. He reconciled the relationship between Adams and Jefferson after they were at each other's throats. I mean, Adams was a little more cordial with Jefferson. Jefferson was like paying like fake news to write stories about Adams and his life. It was crazy. But yeah, Benjamin Rush was amazing, Benjamin Rush was amazing. What are we talking about? Okay. Really an arrangement in marriage. Okay, someone doesn't know what a joke is. George Foreman did do that. Yeah, he did. Hamilton was Jamaican. I loved Alexander Hamilton. So growing up, you know, because I grew up like, the central bank, But I'm going to be honest. The older I get, the more I understand his imperialist urges. You know, you just want to dominate. You know, you just want to own stuff. Hamilton got in that. The thing is, he got it. That's how his political career literally ended. He got killed by Aaron Burr in that duel. Back in those days, man, Kamala and Trump wouldn't be on the debate stage. They'd be pulling out their, like they'd be throwing blows, fighting in person, which would be crazy. Get married in the new ballroom at the White House. Yeah, guys, let me call Trump, right? Terry, let me call Trump. Mr. President, stop everything you're doing. I'm going to get married at the, come on. Dude, you have to put chicken on with orange, lemon, and lime slices and barbecue on. Okay, you guys are eating diabetes. What are you talking about? What am I going to do with orange, lemon, and chicken? Those things don't belong together. Like, they're not even in the same food groups. We need segregation when it comes to food. The oranges are with the oranges, you know, with the fruits. The meats are with the meats. Like, come on, what are you saying? You guys are trying to get me sick, man. Like, just suggested diarrhea to me. Let me put, you said barbecue too? Okay. Nah. This man just said, let me put chicken, orange, lemon. Okay. You might, okay, I do eat Chinese food, and it's orange chicken. Okay, you know what? You might be on. You might be onto something. Yeah, because I do eat orange chicken. I tried orange steak. It was something. Okay, never mind. The only good pineapple. Oh yeah, pina coladas. Yeah, those are great. Whoever did that, did a Spanish person? Is that something from Mexico? Rare Mexican W. Like, that was good stuff. Mexicans did well with pina coladas. Yeah, I love. That's actually, yeah, good mention. That's who invented it. Whoever invented it. Great people. Let me not look this up and it says Germany. Pineapple and ham. Okay, well, that's just, you're trolling me. You're actually trolling me. Stop talking about food. I'm making you hungry. Can't stop. There's something about chicken. Oh man, and look, I do love Applebee's. I know they say, why do black people love Apple? Look, there's something about Applebee's that just makes sense to me. Because I love steak. Neil Johnson knows that. Everyone knows I love steak. There's nothing better than cow. Right? It's everything you want. But the problem is, every time I order steak, because I don't like getting out of the house, you know? The only times I left the house last year was for the inauguration and when I went to check on properties that I had, real estate. That's the only time. Other than that, I was at home doing other things. So I only like DoorDash and Uber Eats, or like any app that brings food to the door in less than 50 minutes. God bless the app. In Jesus' name, that's beautiful. But the problem is every time I ordered steak, all excited, I saw the pictures, you know, medium well, you know, it's in between. It shows up and I get all excited, put it on a plate, because, you know, I'm not eating this, you know, virginated, you know, in a plastic box from the store. I'm eating this on a plate like I'm setting up dinner, you know, put a candle out. I'm on a date by myself, with myself. Then I start, you know, cutting it, and it's disgusting because it's always Greenland. It's cold, it's icy. It's like, where's the heat? Where's the, you know, it's not hot. It's just, you know, it starts tasting bland. So what I've been doing is ordering from Applebee's, because Applebee's shows up and they do it right. Whatever they do, like, it shows up warm. In 10 minutes, it's going to be cold, but, you know, that's where I have to hurry and do a little bit of, just get it done. Stop taxing beef. Yeah, true. You have to go to a restaurant. That's the problem. I have to go. Like, you missed the point. Make it myself. I can't even boil rice. I can't boil water. And you're telling me to make food? No, come on. Learn to cook your own. No. No, I don't know. I'm not cooking. I don't know how to cook. I order stuff. I had Chick-fil-A earlier. Oh, I do have chicken strips I need to finish. Oh, it's going to be delicious. Yeah. I'm eating healthy, though. I'm eating a lot healthier than I've been in years. I'm eating a lot more Chick-fil-A. That's healthy, you know? You know, I had the pineapple lemonade. No, not pineapple. The crushed, like the lemonade yogurt, whatever it's called, the crushed lemonade. That was great. That was beautiful. So, Hispanic woman here. Nice. Thanks for letting me know, because it was critical. Let me help you with okay, someone just typed something that they're trying to help me. Let me help you with this. Say you suspect your brown neighbor is killing your roses and you want it to stop. You got to read out loud. Okay, you're doing this? Really? You paid me money? Okay, it bothers you this much that I don't know how to say Saskatchewan. 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 Oh man, so much so. You wrote it up in a way that I would like to read it. Your brown neighbor is killing your roses, and you want it to stop. You got to read out loud. Saskatchewan. Look. It doesn't matter. What is it? It's a small little territory in Canada. We want Alberta. We want Big Birdo anyways. We don't care about that place. We don't care about Saskatchewan, okay? It's sassy. No way you paid me money to... Oh, man. What has this channel become? But guys, every video, it's like half the comments are like, George, once again, you mispronounced a word that I love this word. This is my... Like, is this going to kill you? Really? I say Fetterman instead of Fetterman. George, no, it's Fetterman. Okay. Well, what do you... Saskatchewan. Guys, we're sending RFK to your house. We're doing a lot with President Trump. Yeah, love RFK Jr. I was at his dropping out announcement in Phoenix, front row, sitting right... He was right there, you know. I was so close to a Kennedy. You know, I just wanted to get up and touch a Kennedy, but didn't work out. Didn't work out that way. Learn how to read. It's hard. It's hard to read. Reading is a suscat. Okay, well, that's not an English word. That's some Native American. Look, Oklahoma should not be part of the United States. Change it. Change it to something we know and love. Just, call it something nice and easy in English, Oklahoma, yeah. Change the name. Colorado, change the name. Do it. This is how you fix every problem, by changing the name. These are some Indian names. You said it right. Saskatchewan. Guys, Clara Lee. Yeah, okay, you guys are making fun of Clara Lee now. Here we go again. Okay, now the comments are just about pronunciation. Okay, this is great. Yeah, we have language police in the chat. I'm feeling over-policed. I'm like a black neighborhood. BLM. Okay? Stop over-policing me. I say sassy. That's sassy Canada. That's their name. Canada's not even a serious country. Like 80% of their trade is with the United States. We are their customer. We buy everything, all their maple syrup. And then they have the balls to sabotage the United States of America's drink brands. Oh, we're going to show Trump. We're going to take all the Hennessy off the shelves. Canada doesn't even have black people. Why are they importing Hennessy? Like, we're going to take all the Hennessy, and which, by the way, they already paid for, and we're going to put it somewhere. Yeah, Trump. You're gonna really get it. We be friends, George Deal. Okay, you can't spell either. We be friends. I think you meant we should be friends. We're not going to be friends because you don't have a profile picture. I don't know what you look like. You might be like Indian, and I can't rock with you. I don't know if you'd look, but no, I had Indian friends. We played soccer together, close to my house actually. Every Sunday after church, it wouldn't be after church. It'd be like 5 hours after. It's not. It's during the summers, and I'd go there, have fun. And one day they said, because it's an Indian community, they're like Punjabs or something. One of the Indians, and they said, George, today, even though you are our best player, better than anybody else, you can't play. Because we have some Indian uncles and everybody comes to this game. So you can't play today. Me and this white kid, we just started playing. And I said, hey, oh man, I guess the whole country showed up today. That's what I said to him. I was like, wow, guess the whole country showed up today. And me and this white kid went and we started, doing a 1v1 game or something. Next week I show up, I'm like, guys, let's bloody play. Do my little Indian accent. And the guy comes up to me and said, I was really upset with what you told me last week. And I said, what? He said, I forgot the Indian accent. We suffered discrimination, and you said the whole country showed up. That's racist. We already suffer racism. We didn't expect it from you, George. I was like, guys, it's not racist. But ever since then, me and the Indians fell out because they couldn't take the race jokes. It was hilarious. It was great. It was true because everyone showed up. But anyways, I have love for the Indians in my heart. My heart, oh man, a lot of fat above. I got to go back to the gym, man. George, I promise you the citrus goes into the chicken. Oh, okay, Anubis, you're still talking about chicken and orange and watermelon. What are you? This guy's trying to get me sick. Guys, he's trying crazy. Wait. I am black. I got a lot. Okay, you are black because you said I got and not I get. Okay, a lot racism from Indian people. Yeah, Indian people. No, look. I love everybody. You know, it's part of Christianity to love everyone. But I don't have to like everyone. There's a difference. Love is like more intense. Like is like surface level. I don't like you, but I love you. You know. Most couples don't like each other, but they love each other, and that's the difference, you know. So the point is, I love everybody, but you know there are differences. There are like you're not a Christian. You do want to build a statue for your 1 millionth Hindu deity in the neighborhood, like you want Texas to look like Mumbai. Like that is it's a distinction. George is black? Question mark. Look. Black. Yeah, of course. I think I'm actually 50% Mexican, maybe. Papacito, burrito, taco. Come on. Oh gosh. I think the later it gets at night, the more it's like the racists just come out. The racism just comes out of all of us. I saw this video. Look, my fellow black people, it's time to address this video. I saw this video. It was a ski resort. It might have been Colorado, which that'd be crazy, you know? And it was like the whole hood from Chicago pulled up to the ski resort and they were dancing to rap. They were doing all this. They were doing gun fingers. It's like, guys, you're at a civilized ski resort, you know? Act like you're there, like you've been there before. Do the activity that you're there for. Why go to a cold... You're never going to catch me skiing. Because first of all, I don't know how to do it. Second, I don't like... Well, I live in a cold state. I don't mind the cold, but I don't want to like intensify it up in the mountains skiing. I don't... See, that's the difference. I don't want to do that. But like, guys, why are you doing this? Like, you know, suddenly they have to... People say... Look, there will be a day where Martin Luther King will have his dream. You know, everyone's going to be civilized. But it has to happen in increments, you know. The welfare state needs to be shut down, and then that's going to lead to self-responsibility and accountability at the ground level. And then black people are going to build wealth, and they're not going to be ghetto anymore. It's just going to be a dream world, you know. Tyrone's not going to rob you, and me. He robs me too. But anyways, should do a cooking show episode and make the sister... Oh my gosh! There's no way you're donating money to tell me to do a cooking show and make the citrus chicken from the chat. It will be great. Yeah, guys, let's go ahead and get 5 viewers. You know, let's not talk about politics, geopolitics. Let's make a video about cooking. Because it's going to be funny for like 2 people in the chat. Everyone else in the chat isn't laughing at the joke. It's over. No one's laughing. Like 5 people are like, haha, they're chuckling. They're not laughing at this joke. In Singapore, there are no unemployed. Don't work, don't eat. Love that for Singapore, but they are not the United States. They're, city island with a city state, literally, with 6 million people. Okay, Fetterman. Okay, well, it's Fetterman. Talk politics while you cook. Guys, look, I don't want to bring sexism onto the channel, right? I'm a very equal rights, equal everything. Why do you guys want me to be sexist? Cooking isn't what I do. So it's not my responsibility. This is why I told you guys. I need a David arrangement. I need like 4 wives. No, that's some Muslim. Okay, not even as a joke. I should not even joke about that. You know, I shouldn't even joke about that. Nah, 4 wives would be a lot. Yeah, it'd be impossible. No, I need one that does all the cooking, cleaning, and everything, and I just, I do everything else. Look, I believe in the traditional roles and responsibilities, and so, while I'm, nice and single, I'm just gonna order food from DoorDash, and I'm just gonna look. I'm creating jobs, and okay, now I'm starting to feel bad about this cooking thing. Am I getting married? This is the wrong question. The question is, have I achieved? Nah, this is gonna sound gay. No, the right question is, has God? Yeah, God will just he'll just import a chick somewhere, and you know, everyone in the chat, tell George we want to watch him grill chicken. Okay, grilling is a man's thing. Okay, well, you know what? I don't trust dudes that like doing barbecue. I don't think it's what you guys think it is. Look, I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't trust dudes that grill barbecue and they do it out of leisure. I don't look, when I think of what I want to do, I want to like sit down and look at a world map and learn about every part of that country. This is why I sleep so late. I'm reading about every country on earth. That's what I like doing. That's my leisure time. My free time is learning what Trump is doing. How is Trump checkmating Xi Jinping? That's what I like doing. You dudes out there, oh man, why don't you just give me my skillet? What are the men? Look, look, Neil Johnson's my friend. Great channel. But he's obsessed with hunting. And I'm like, Neil, look, I get it. It's for sustainability, but I'm never going to live in the country. I like the city. I like living amongst neighbors. Even though I talk to my neighbors like once every 4 months. No, I haven't talked to my neighbor in like 2 years. But look, guys, I like living in the city. I like proximity to Target, Walmart. I don't know about, oh man, like the route to manliness is like learning to cook. I'm not cooking. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not grilling chicken. You're not going to find me enjoying it. I think it would be the same as like going shopping for me. It would like ruin me. There's nothing worse than like shopping. Just imagine it. Oh gosh. Oh man, whoever invented delivery, God bless you. The Lord carry you for just take you to heaven immediately. Cause man, could you imagine if I had to go to Walmart or Target? Oh my gosh. That would kill me. Oh man. It would actually kill me. I'm failing the male community? Okay. Well, says a guy named Men Can't Get Pregnant. Okay, that's a crazy name. I'm domesticated. Oh man, that hurts. Damn, you guys think I'm like a sissy now. Oh, gosh. Oh man. Oh man. Now do I read Thomas Sowell? I haven't gotten to that step in my life yet where I read. I'm still right now. Well, I'll tell you. I'm reading T.D. Roosevelt. T.D. Roosevelt. That would be. Just forgot his name. Wait, what? Oh, Theodore Roosevelt. I think his childhood name, his like nickname was like Teddy or something, or Teddy. I think it was Teddy because Teddy was his dad's. Anyways, Brian Kilmeade did not do a good job because so far, how many pages? I'm like 5 chapters in. I'm not gonna lie, this is not the best book I've read. It's the relationship between Theodore Roosevelt and Booker T. Washington. Great book. Because I don't really like slave history. I don't, not that I look, because it's written in a very emotional lens. I want pure logic. But this book, I mean, what this book is doing well is like giving me a vision of what life was like for a freed slave immediately after freedom. But I'm kind of waiting for, because it jumps from Booker T. Washington's life and it goes to, Theodore Roosevelt's life, and it's like from age 1 to 5, and then it goes from Booker T. Washington age 1 to 5 to Theodore Roosevelt age 1 to 5, and it's like it's jumping all over the place. I don't like it. Brian Kilmeade, I'm sorry, man. This is not. But maybe after, I don't know. I feel like a book should draw me in immediately because I like reading. But this one's like, it feels like it's so many unnecessary details. It's not written the way I talk anyways. It's not written like this book. Oh my gosh. John Meacham. I think he's like a liberal hack, but it's okay. He wrote, this is an excellent book on Jefferson. And also the John Adams by David McAuliffe. That one's great. I think he's also another liberal hack. What was that? How did I get to that point? But no, I haven't gotten to the. I'm still reading about history. That's my preferred genre right now, after U.S. history, because I mean most of it I knew from history classes in middle school, high school. Didn't go to college, of course, but I want to take it after U.S. history, a complete picture. So if God says I'll have kids in the future, I want to explain the United States history from literally the Pilgrims landing to, I don't know, World War II. Like that's what I want. I want to be able to do it off the fly. And I have a great understanding of history from the beginning till, I guess, Abraham Lincoln. But everything after that, I don't really, the country became the richest country in the world. We're the leading global economy in 1890. But I don't really know why, I still, because I haven't read to that point. So I'm like picking books that and I'll get to that point, and then when I get to World War II, because everything else I think I know, or I have a basic understanding of history from that point, the civil rights, the wars in Vietnam, the Cold War, everything else, all the way to this point. So I have an understanding of that. After that, I want to move to global politics. So I want to read about all the ancient empires, but very briefly. I want a general history on different regions. I don't want to read 4 hours about Napoleon, because you get a little bit about Napoleon in different books that you read, especially if they are in times that overlap. I'm not the next Victor Davis Hansen. Victor Davis Hansen he's a smart guy. But he's been abused recently. AI has been using his face. These like scumbags, I don't know, in India or something, have been making channels with his face, with his likeness, and it's disgusting to see. YouTube's not doing enough about that problem. Read about 19th century wars of Europe, and you will see patterns unfold. Okay, see, that's what I like to hear. Like, I mean, also something else that's like really good for history is, my secret is I take a leader like Stalin and I'll I'll use AI to, get specific questions. It's like, it's a pretty good tool because it's trained on a lot of history books anyways. And Stalin's interesting because what an evil, sick, disgusting weirdo. But I really want to know what drives a man to justify everything for the ultimate goal. Like, he'll do anything to get to industrialization. I want to read about, I still want to read about the Chinese. How did they go from great empires in history to a century of humiliation occupied by the Japanese at some point? That's history I'd like to know. Basically, I want to go to any country and go, oh, I know about that guy that is in your history book. Read your Bible. Yeah, that's part of my reading. The Bible is not a history book like talking about Thomas Jefferson. It's the Word of God, the living Word of God. I don't read the Bible to learn about men. I read the Bible to learn about Christ. It's ultimately the difference. But what world history does, an understanding of global history, is it informs your thinking. It gives you a picture of what matters at the end of the day, right? And like it says in Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. So the things that have been happening will always happen, and the things that are happening will happen again. So if that's true, then you need to look back in history, right? Trump is a historical figure, which means there's someone like him or someone that resembles different traits of his in history. I think Trump is similar to a Napoleon, to be honest. Conqueror, and he's a reformist. Trump is a liberator in that sense. He's a nationalist. So I like history for that reason, because it's like, yeah, you can compare people, right? Anyways, we had to do a long stream because I realized we hit 200,000 subscribers, which was, guys, that was beautiful. I really do appreciate you guys. That was, 200,000 subscribers on this channel. YouTube banned us for 4 years. We couldn't create content. And then in October, they said, "Hey, George," on X, "you want to come back to YouTube?" I said, "Okay, I'll create a new channel." Nice. And then they banned me again, 4 days later. "Sorry, George, that was an accident. We just, it was a mix-up with our technology. You're fine now." Now we've been back for 4 months? So it's amazing. It's fun. And so 3 months, 4 months, however long it's been, having a lot of fun. 200,000 subscribers. We passed, I think we were at 170 when they banned us in 2021. But now we're back at 200,000. And 4 years later, almost 5 years, people are still complaining about, "George, you mispronounced Fetterman." Okay, well, Fetterman declared that Trump was going to lose Pennsylvania 2 weeks before the 2020 election. How did he know? Look, he's still a Democrat. He's a crook. I'm gonna call him Fetterman. Hope my voice can reach the masses as well. Well, if you create content, I hope you do a really good job. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's late. It's late. I don't know why you guys are up. I guess I'm ruining your sleep schedules, so I want you to go back to sleep. Do you think you sound like the ant from The Lord of the Rings? You guys keep bringing these movie references in. I don't watch movies. I do watch movies. Damn, I just looked up the ant. The tree beard? Man, come on, man. There's no way you're saying I sound like this guy. Let me hear him speak. Oh my gosh. Guys, you're saying I sound like a demon. Like, that's some disgusting...
Climb up sometimes and they tickle me off.
No way you're saying I sound like that. Nah, that's crazy. That's a demon tree. Nah. You guys and your jokes, man. This ain't it. I give you peace. No, Jesus gives you peace. I don't give you no peace. I'm going to give you a headache soon if you say that again. All right. Lord, I pray for everybody. Give them sound sleep and decent dreams. In Jesus' name, amen. Honestly, it's good morning, everybody. Well, it's almost good morning. All right. Good morning, everyone. Goodbye. Oh, man.